Hey, what's up? It's Dr. Toby here. In this video, I want to show runners how to get rid of hip pain that feels like clicking or snapping when you're running or after you run. This is going to be helpful. I'm going to show you not only what exercises to do, but also why and how this may be affecting your run and impacting your hip joint in the long run. So let's get right into this one. The first exercise I want to show you is called a lateral lunge quadrant or a hip quadrant. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be stretching our hip in 3 different directions. That's going to be forward, diagonal, and to the side. And I'll show you from a few different angles in a moment, but what we're going to do is get in this half kneeling position, one knee on the ground, one knee posted up. We want to be at about a 90-degree angle, and we're going to just lunge forward. And what we're going to be feeling is that hip flexor stretching out. We want to hold this for about 3 to 5 seconds, and we're going to do probably 10 repetitions of this. This is very important to do, especially if you're a runner who does distance running or any kind of running where you feel a clicking sensation or a snapping, kind of popping while you're running or at a certain point in your run. So maybe at the beginning of your run, you don't feel anything, but toward the end or toward a certain point, you start to feel some snapping, clicking, and then oftentimes that might cause some pain or discomfort either during or after your run. This is gonna be an important exercise to do. We're gonna do the diagonal as well. So we're gonna go, instead of just going straight, this time we're gonna go to a diagonal position. And we're gonna stretch that for the same amount of time in terms of the duration of hold, 3 to 5 seconds, 10 repetitions. And as we do this, we're gonna be feeling a little bit more of not only the hip flexor, but we're gonna be getting more of that hip adductor and moving our hip joint at an angle that optimizes its opening. So one of the reasons why you might be having that snapping and that clicking is because the joint space might be compressing more than it needs to, and this is going to be helpful to release that joint space. So we're moving in that diagonal position here, and I'll just show you from a little bit of a slightly different angle. We're here and we're going in diagonal, but the last one we're going to do is we're going to go to the side. So we're going to go all the way to the side, and this is going to get more of those adductors, and we're right there. So again, same thing, 10 rounds or 10 repetitions, I should say, and we're doing it for 3 to 5 seconds. We can do the same thing on the other side, and it's important, especially from a warm-up perspective, that you do this, but you can also do this after you've already been feeling some of the pain or discomfort. So let's say you just went for a run, 5 miles, or you did 10 miles, whatever you did, and you start to feel that snapping, that clicking pain, maybe at mile number 8, whatever the case may be. This is something good to wind down with. Or if the pain and the clicking has pain associated with it, then this is something that you can stop your run and do as a mild interruption to your run to find some relief if there actually is pain associated with your clicking. Sometimes there's not always pain with clicking, and people are like, man, I have this clicking in my hip, I don't know, I want to make sure that something's not going wrong. Just because you have clicking in your hip doesn't mean that something has gone wrong. But if it's associated with pain, that is an indication that there is some issue there. So what happens when you actually are feeling that discomfort that is associated with the clicking, then that means you want to focus on some of the things I'm going to share with you guys after these exercises. So let's go into the next exercise that I want to show you that's going to be very critical. First thing we want to do, like we just did, is opening up that joint while at the same time helping to stretch and elongate those muscles. And that's what we're doing with the hip quadrant. Now what we're going to do is start to train our muscles to better stabilize our joint and to have greater durability without having the snapping or the clicking. So again, if you're someone who has clicking and snapping in the hip without any pain, that's normal. It just means that there could be things that you can do to help better optimize your joint space by improving the tightness of the muscles in terms of their durability and how elastic they are, as well as if you're having pain with the clicking or after the clicking or the snapping, then that means there probably is something that's more problematic. So for people who don't have the pain with the snapping or the clicking, it most likely means that you're just having some friction from your tendon or from your ligament brushing against the bone as you're moving at a certain point. Maybe you've gotten to a point of looseness in the hip joint as you've gone throughout the mileage of your run. So you've been running for 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, and the hip has gotten much looser, and or maybe it's even gotten tighter in terms of the tendons and the ligaments because of the run, and now you're getting some brushing or some snapping, right? If it's not associated with pain, that's good. It just probably means that you're feeling some of that movement of the joint of the bone across the tendon or the ligament. Now let's show you this next exercise, because this is going to help whether you have pain or not. So we're going to be here in this position. We'll be in what we call a dead bug position. This is what we call a dead bug. We have 90 degrees here, arms straight up, and what we're going to do is we can actually just, at the lowest level of performing this exercise, we can take it a step behind performing it and just stay in this position, holding this for 5 to 10 seconds, and taking a rest and going right there. This is going to activate our core and help to facilitate a improvement in the movement of our hip flexor muscles by getting them active with our core. And this is going to be very beneficial to reduce some of that clicking. Now, if that's too easy or maybe it's really difficult, you can always bring it a step down by reducing how often or how long you're staying in that position. But we want to make sure our back is flat. We're not having any back pain. Back is flat, 90 degrees angle here. And from there, we can progress this into our dead bug. Same opposite leg, opposite arm is moving. Left leg is going down, right arm is going back. And we move like that into that position. Now we can control how far we straighten the leg. We can maybe say, I'll just go this far because this is difficult for me right now, right? It just really depends. But you might even feel snapping or clicking with this exercise, and that should go away after you've done probably 2 rounds of 10 or 3 rounds of 10. Or if you're feeling snapping or clicking that feels painful, you can again decrease the range of motion, right? And go from there. So if it feels painful, you definitely want to decrease the range of motion instead of going straight all the way down and bringing it back up, right? So do the same thing on the opposite side. And we want to think about doing 2 rounds of 10, 3 rounds of 10, depending on how easy or difficult this exercise is for you. So that's an important one because that's really going to target helping the tendons and the muscles to really stabilize that joint in an extension position going into the eccentric action. Eccentric just means we're straightening that or lengthening the muscle. All right, we're lengthening it here and then we're contracting it here, lengthening it here, contracting it here. And as we're lengthening it, it's going to cause some stability challenge to those muscles, joints, and tendons. And we bring it back. So that's going to be very helpful. Last exercise you want to think about is doing a lateral lunge, but not just any kind of lateral lunge. This is going to be very important. So again, let's say the hip is on the left side. That's the problem. What I'm going to be doing is getting to that lateral lunge position, nice wide feet. And what I'm going to do is I actually want to mobilize my hip a little bit. So I want to put a little bit of pressure here so I can feel that pressure in the joint. I'm not really focusing on the lunge as far as the muscle activation on this side of my leg, because usually when we're doing a lunge, we're focusing on the leg that we're lunging toward, but I'm actually focused on the opposite hip for the purpose of this lateral lunge mobilization. So I'm mobilizing the hip, open that joint up, all right, and I can give a little rotation toward the opposite diagonal direction. I'm gonna feel a little stretch there, right? Now, after I've done this, and I've mobilized it, I want to strengthen and stabilize it. I'm going to shift and do the same thing on the opposite side. All right. But this time, because I'm trying to work on the hip that's been snapping and popping and clicking, I'm actually going to just shift here. So I'm not so much concerned about mobilizing this hip because this hip is fine. I actually want to gain some stability and strength. I want to think about doing 2 sets of 12, 2 sets of 15, 3 sets of 12, 3 sets of 15 to really reintroduce some new durability to those muscles and help them to contract and to stabilize the joint that I've loosened up through the activity. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, like it and leave a comment. What was most helpful for you about this video? And what's your experience when it comes to running and popping or snapping or clicking of the hip? Is it painful? Is it not? Have you been concerned, worried? Drop a comment below and I'd love to give you more insight. Again, if you found this video helpful, like it and leave a comment. You can also hit the link in our description to talk to a PT first, where we can give you some personalized guidance on exactly how to improve your run, how to improve your flexibility, your mobility, so that you don't have issues or injuries that hinder you, especially if you have a 5K or a 12K or a 10K or even a marathon or half marathon coming up. It's going to be great to get some insight. You can talk to a PT first to help avoid injuries as you're preparing and training for your run. Hit the link in our description. It's 100% free. And hit the subscribe button because we make videos to help you stay healthy, pain-free, fit, and mobile so that you can discover the wealth that starts with your health. And it's Dr. Toby here. I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button.